Hi, I am just putting together your support video for this week. And so I just wanted to kind of go through a few things and then also address some thoughts that I had about things people brought up last night. So I'm going to take my video off and get to it. Okay, so the big pieces that we went over last night was on routines, traditions, and rituals. And then we did the environmental support activity. And then we split the class in half to do our circles. So as I went over last night, the PBIS module is right here. There's a 33-minute video that'll take you through everything. This is a link to the PowerPoint if you want it. And then here is the assignment. So there's 3 websites. You're going to go to those. Well, first you're going to explain your role in the PBIS process as a teacher. And then for your case study student, I want you to explain the 1 or 2 problems. You can just pick one, and that's okay. And then you'll explore these 3 websites to see if you can find some supports for your student. And then explain how the resource will help your case student. So for example, I think the most difficult one might be this one, which is the PENT. And let me just open it. And I go through it a little bit in the video, but I just want to really highlight. You can see that there's different things that might be helping your student. So I would highly recommend, you kind of go to those and you explore a little bit more. So the other one that I wanted to talk about a little bit more, and this came from the discussions we were having last night, is the PBIS world. This one's really nice for once you identify what the behavior is that you're looking at. It is really good at being able to understand the behavior a little bit more and find some interventions that people can work on. So one of the things that I heard last night was, that maybe you don't know what to do with depression or somebody failing to turn in work. Both of those came up in our circle. So you can actually click on these, and these are all things that will help. Like, first of all, this is what the student might look like. And then you hit yes. And then these are all interventions for teachers. You don't need a psychologist necessarily to, help you with these things, but there's a few things that we can do and we can explicitly teach our students as teachers to make sure that they're okay. So for example, we'll just do teaching coping skills. And of course, this is going to change depending on how old your student is and things like that. But why should I do it? When should I do it? How do I do it? And so depending on which tier, you would do different types of things. There are whole class coping skill lessons that you can put together, or you can pull them into little groups, or you can work on getting them the therapy that they might be needing from a teacher. And then here's some resources and techniques, and those are all listed, so you can click on those. And there's a lot of just really great resources, and then this is the research that goes behind all of the resources that they're giving. You can see there's a lot. So that's one of the reasons why I try to introduce this website to you as quickly as possible. And so let's go back up. And then remember, you just need to turn in the case study. So the review of records, that's a summary that you turned in this week with your critical reflection. So any sort of feedback that we are able to get you before next week, you can revise that and then turn in the revised one. The CRSTP, and that's the PowerPoint, and as much of it as you can get done. And then, of course, the problem identification and decision about priorities. And this is really being able to come to terms with how either distracting, disruptive, or destructive the behavior is. And then, the interventions and the level of support will change depending on how you answer that question. And it is just fine to have somebody that just might have distracting behavior. The other thing is to turn in the second stage 2, part A of your digital portfolio. So remember, the bolded ones are the ones that you have to have, but you just have to have some time before this whole thing is due. So you can choose any 5 of these examples, or possibly you have a different one, and that's okay too. One important thing is if you are using anything with students, that you do protect their identity. So, you have the back of their heads, you black out their names on the papers and things like that. So that's the online module, and of course the chapter 2 of the Bambara text. You're going to read more of Professor Pariser's book, and then the case study and the digital portfolio. And once again, this article here, as I mentioned, there's links inside of it. And I'd like you to click on at least one link. So, for example, her dissertation was entitled, and then you can click on that and you can actually go to it. A dissertation is probably pretty long, but here's some articles that came out of that you could read. Or a new report, you can click on that and read that report also if you'd like to. So there's a few different possibilities for what you do and what you learn further about from Dr. Julian Vasquez-Hellig's. This is his website that he really looks at a lot of the discriminatory practices in education. So. All right, so that brings us up to what is required, and then I always like to try to put something fun in there. So this is just a weareteachers.com website, and I got this right off of Facebook. I don't know if it's going to come up right now because my computer's been a little slow. But it just goes through and does these funny little, I always forget, is it memes or memes or memes for each one of the students. So as you can see, we're moving along, and that one is obviously going to take a while, but we're moving along in the semester. Whoop. And whoa, let's go. I meant to have this already scrolled down, but we're moving along with how we're moving with the digital portfolio and trying to get that all ready, and then also the case study, which, like I said, you're going to be turning in and learning more about this student, and then you'll turn the final in at the end of the term. Let's see if it came up. It did come up. Yay! So 10 personalities you can spot at every faculty meeting. And, we've got the worn out teacher, and I won't go through them, but you can, and it's kind of funny. But once again, I wanted to let you guys know if there are any things that are coming up. And some other things that I did here last night were just around boundaries and working with other adults, feeling overwhelmed with everything. We are doing our best in this class to really support you so that you can get through all of these stages. So sharing these types of things, and then asking for more support is absolutely appreciated, because the more we know about what you're dealing with and thinking about and challenged with, then we can really plan and tailor our assignments around that. So, all right, so next week we're going to get into our SST groups. And hopefully this will be very successful as well. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a beautiful weekend, and please do reach out if you have any questions or concerns. Have a great day. Bye.